All right, guys. Let's tackle this here real quick. I wasn't here today, but I wanted to kind of go over this. So let's make sure that we understand what natural log means. So natural log, it's just the same as log base E or log base 2.71. We just don't write that. So its inverse is base E. It follows the logarithm where our numerical values, x is 1, y is 0, x is e, because that's the base, and 1. We're going to add 3 to the x values, so 1 plus 3 gives us 4. E is our other x value. We're going to add 3 to it. Now remember, if you weren't here Thursday or Friday, this just means 2.71 plus 3. So it's about 5.71. It's about 5.71. But you can just use 3 as an estimate. It's no big deal. And then when there's a number on the outside like this one, we're going to multiply that by the y value. So that negative 2 comes from right here, or right here if you want to. That's a little bit easier to see. So now we get our values, and we get 4 and 4, and we get about 5.71 and 2. And so those are our points that we put right here. And this x value, which is actually e squared plus 3, we set it equal to 0. I just moved the 4 over, which made this negative 4. And then I divided by 2, negative 2, so I get a 2 there. What's the inverse of natural log? It's base e. So I raise everything to the base e. So I get e squared right there. I add 3 to this side, and I get e squared plus 3, which is about 12 because this is around 3. It's a little bit less than 3. So if I do 3 squared, it's going to be 9 plus 12. So we just write it as e squared plus 3. Okay? So don't forget on these, the asymptote's always at 0, so on this one, we're going to set it equal to 0. Sorry, there's stuff missing here. We're going to add 3 to both sides, that we get x plus 3. That is not for us. So that's how you tackle natural log. When we come over here, and I'm not sure what you're going to be able to see, but we'll do the best we can. This is a exponential graph that should look something like this. When we're done, again, we take our x value and we're going to subtract 1 from it, and our base values are 0 and 1. They're the inverse of that, and 1 and e, because this is base e, so it's the inverse of the natural log that we just talked about there. So we're going to subtract 1, the opposite of what you see in there. So we're going to have the x value, which is 0, minus 1, which is negative 1, and then we have our base of 1. 1 minus 1 is 0, so those are my 2 new x values. We have a 3 in front, so my y value is going to get multiplied by 3. 3 times 1 minus 2 gives me 1. And e is my other y value, so it's 3e minus 7, which is approximately 9 minus 2, which is going to be about 7. So probably a little smaller than 7. So and then we come over here, I go to 0 and I go up to about 7, and I put my intercept there. And then from there, I plot my negative 1 and 1. I went over 1 and up 1. And then to find my x-intercept, I know the curve automatically curves down like this. So there's my x-intercept, but what is it? Set it equal to 0, remember. If I set it equal to 0, I'm going to move the 2 over. It becomes positive. Divide by 3. Take the natural log of both sides, because the inverse of base e, is natural log. Then we'll subtract 1. You can turn that into a decimal if you like. Plot it right there. My asymptote on these is just what k equals. So right here is what my asymptote is. I draw my line, so it cannot cross that asymptote. And then that is how we tackled the last couple of days, Thursday and Friday, and these pieces. So good luck on that. We'll see you soon. Hopefully this video helps those that were missing a little bit.